Hello everyone. Today we'll be talking about applications of 5G and specifically its integration in a smart home. So before we begin, you may be wondering what is 5G? Well, 5G is the fifth generation of cellular network technology that's planned to introduce improved speed, capacity, as well as reduced latency compared to existing cellular systems like 4G or 3G. So what's great about 5G? Well, 5G is pretty fast. It has a theoretical upper speed limit of 10 gigabits per second. It has low latency, 1 millisecond or less. It's able to connect many devices, like 100 devices, and it allows these multiple devices to communicate with each other rather seamlessly and effortlessly. And it can cover pretty much the whole world with reduced network energy usage. So here's a table of the differences between 4G and 5G. And one of the few important things I'll list out between these two is the data bandwidth. So if you look at the data bandwidth for 4G, it ranges from 2 megabits per second to 1 gigabits per second. But 5G starts off at the upper limit of 4G, that is 1 gigabit per second and higher. Not only that, 5G has a much bigger range when it comes to frequency band, and it has better technology like OFDM, that is orthogonal frequency division multiplexing, and it uses CDMA, BDMA, the usual stuff, but overall it's much improved, it's faster, has a bigger range in frequency. So now that we've known what 5G is, what is a smart home? Well, a smart home is a new building or home that is built with a special wiring structure that allows its occupants, the people living in it, to control or program several electronic devices by receiving a single command. And a few companies that release their own smart home products or smart home platforms are Amazon, Apple, and Google. So what can you do in a smart home? Well, in a smart home, you can monitor a few things such as electricity and water usage and even the temperature. And devices within a smart home are able to communicate with each other seamlessly. Like, for example, when you play a song in the living room and decide to go back to your room, the speakers in your room can pick up and continue playing the song from where you left off at the living room. In a smart home, lights too can sense if a person enters the room and lights up, and switches itself off if a person leaves the room. And smart homes come with increased security and safety, with the ability to check up on children when the parents are away, or manage appliances if the user is rushing to work and forgot to turn off the stove. The user is able to switch off the stove, and the user may also remotely control or restrict certain channels and websites that their child may access without being there. And in case of emergencies, of a burglary or a break-in or a fire even, a smart home may send a notification to the owner, letting the owner know what's going on, as well as alerting the appropriate authorities. And in any case, if the user wishes to, the user may be able to control the locks on the door. This is only possible with smart devices that are able to detect and make changes to the situation respectively. And this works through the cooperation of multiple smart devices that are all connected to each other. So, what are the applications of 5G in smart homes? One of the applications of 5G is home broadband. With the evolution of broadband, users are allowed to experience faster data speeds and lower latency. This also increases the usage of services and applications that are data heavy. This holds true as many data-intensive applications start to emerge, such as virtual and augmented reality, as well as streaming ultra-high-definition video. Although the industry of networking still manages to cope with the rising data demand, it's clear that new, large network capacity is needed to support such data-heavy applications. This is where 5G comes into play. 5G is predicted to dramatically reduce latency and response time of applications. The fact that 5G is able to connect up to 100 devices and not slow down data transfer rates makes 5G a perfect candidate for smart homes, which will have multiple different devices that use the same network. As mentioned earlier, virtual reality is a technology that puts people into a fully immersive computer simulated environment. This is normally done through specialized headsets. Augmented reality, on the other hand, is similar to VR, but instead of creating a virtual world, it layers digital elements over the top of the physical world. An example of this would be Pokemon Go. Both are widely used in the industry of gaming and manufacturing, as well as enhancing everyday life experience. In a smart home, however, virtual reality can serve as a source of entertainment, as well as creating a virtual workspace with holograms of your colleagues to interact with in real time, making work more interesting and enjoyable. Augmented reality, on the other hand, in a smart home, it can enhance the user's environment by adding text and labels in real time for additional information. This would come in handy when you're looking at a chair, for example. Augmented reality can display the dimensions of a chair that you're looking at. Both of these technologies, that is VR and AR, which is virtual reality and augmented reality, they require complex input mechanisms, and a lot of data has to be processed in a very short amount of time. It also requires a network that has wide coverage, as well as consistent signal, and almost zero latency due to people moving around with the devices. This is where 5G comes in. 5G's significantly faster speeds and lower latency, as well as high reliability ratings, will help in supporting these data-intensive applications. 5G also provides higher capacity, faster response time, and high bandwidth, all which are ultimately important to support consistent streaming of ultra high definition video formats such as 8K. So, another thing we have to talk about is household system monitors. With the rapid growth of Internet of Things devices, they allow us to gain full control of the household system. IoT has a lot of devices connected together and easily monitored with the household system monitors. For example, IoT devices can help sense an electrical surge, sense a pipe failure, sense flooding, temperature increases, bulb failures, as well as faulty door locks. All these devices have to be connected together, and they require a high bandwidth. Unfortunately, nothing in this world is perfect, and that includes 5G and its integration in a smart home, which brings us to the challenges of 5G and its integration in a smart home. For example, intercell interference. This is a major technological issue that needs to be solved. There is variations in size of traditional macro cells and concurrent small cells that will ultimately lead to interference. Not only that, we have efficient medium access control. In a situation where dense deployment of access points and user terminals are required, the user throughput will be low, latency will be high, and hotspots will not be competent to cellular technology to provide high throughput. This is a problem that researchers need to solve. Another one of the challenges is traffic management. Great number of M2N devices, that is machine-to-machine devices, in a cell may cause serious system challenges. For example, RAN challenges, which is radio access network challenges, will cause overload and congestion. On top of that, we have the issue of multiple service. Unlike other radio signal services, 5G would have a huge task to offer services to heterogeneous networks, technologies, and devices operating in different geographic regions. So the challenge is of standardization to provide dynamic, universal, user-centric, and data-rich wireless services to fulfill the high expectation of people. The infrastructure is also another challenge. Researchers currently are facing technological challenges of standardization and the application of 5G services. Not only that, when speaking of communication, navigation, and sensing, these services largely depend upon the availability of radio spectrum through which signals are transmitted. Though 5G has strong computational power to process the huge volume of data coming from different and distinct sources, it still needs larger infrastructure support. And in terms of security and privacy, which is one of the most important challenges that 5G needs to ensure, 5G has to somehow make sure protection of personal data is ensured. 5G will have to define the uncertainties related to security threats, including trust, privacy, cybersecurity, which are all growing across the globe. You hear it everywhere. So that's all for this topic. Here are the references should you need to read up more on what we have discussed today. Thank you.